Wonderful afternoon. We are coming to you live from our studios here inside Olusegun Obasanjo Street. We are currently in Jowolo, inside the Perez Dome, coming to you live from our studios here, bringing you the Christian podcast that is frank about the current happenings in the country. My name is Smart Techi Nixon. I'm in the studios with my good friends, and we are still talking about, is the black man cursed? What has the black man adopted, and what has he forsaken in the past God knows how many years? I'll be talking to KB, the MC, Miss Ginger, and also Pastor James in the studio. Last week, we took a look at religion and its impact on our behavior. I actually wanted to send a picture to my producer to just show on the screen briefly. I think that I'll do it quite a bit later, but round of applause to the incumbent government. This is no political agenda. I'm told the flyover interchange at Spintex has been inaugurated. A phase of it has been inaugurated. For commuters of that stretch, they have applauded the current government because it's eased a lot of traffic. And like I said, this is no political agenda. It is the fact that when something softens the life or lessens the burden on the citizenry, it's worthy to be noted. And so that's just a bit and more. The picture that I'll be showing you is also about that same interchange. Right after the inauguration of the interchange, one lady has pushed her coconut truck under the interchange and she has started selling. Now her words were, before the interchange was constructed, that was her spot. So now that it has been inaugurated, she is not going anywhere. That is still her spot. All this and more is coming your way from now to the hour of 4. I'm in the studios with Miss Ginger. Ginger, how's it going?
Charlie, we do talk.
Not be easy. Pressure day.
Pressure
the traffic in town nowadays, you just don't know where it's coming from. I think that I may have to move from Achimota. Hey!
Oh no, you are better of trust.
Hey, in the mornings, if I leave home just a little after 6:30, Charlie,
it will ease off. I think around December, around 28 December, but it will ease off.
Charlie, it's crazy. On Monday, I had to take off my suit in the Uber ride home. I took off my suit, loosened my belt. I said, I'm shaking, take crack. Pastor James, the revivalist, is also here with us. Pastor James, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Smart.
How's it going?
I'm blessed. How about you?
I'm doing great by the grace of God. Taking it a day at a time.
Fan is Ghana. I'm a brand ambassador, unofficial.
Unofficial. KBDM says
yes, yep.
Yeah, my brother Charlie.
I think mine is Cowbell Mocha. And some family brand ambassador. We move. Obia Daisy.
Cowbell Mocha.
Obia Daisy. Promise it all. Shout out.
Again, for MCs we suffer. I can MC a wedding and I'll ask the bride, please, what are your colors? Say fuchsia and champagne gold.
Ish.
Cyan. I almost say a cyan, white, and
what is cyan?
Brother, it's a shade of green.
A shade of green.
Yeah, you can call mint green. Area move on, no.
Not turquoise.
There be
Cyan.
Turquoise is more blue. Cyan is more green. Mint green. One was cyan line. That's that spectrum.
Rebecca, you're back banning. Obiansa white, no messy. Obiansa black, no.
No, but you know the irony. When I go to the wedding on Saturday, I didn't even see
a single person.
That's why I never know who's
well, before we get to the main topic, I was reading around colors of a couple, and shockingly, what I found out was if the couple gives you their colors, you are not supposed to wear it.
No, you are not supposed to,
because you may turn up looking like
the decor,
the groom or the decor, or so. The intent is for me to tell you, so you don't show up in those colors.
No, and as it has the
because if it is black and purple, and you are an MC and you also show up in a black suit, purple tie, you look like the group.
Or the decor.
Or the decor. So the idea was that, unless of course they are saying it's an all-white party, but if a couple gives you their colors, you are not supposed to show up in that.
The one that I went to, it was an all-white thing, because the bride and his bridesmaid were all white. The groomsmen started with white. The decor was white. So I don't know why they didn't give those colors.
Hey, then the pictures will look some way. All white, they're all white. Any which way, you're welcome aboard. Today we are taking a look at the African tradition, the African culture. Last week we were dissecting the issue into its nitty-gritties. We talked about religion as one of the major purveyors of the change of mindset in the way we approach things in the African continent. Today we are taking a look at lost identity or identity crisis. We're also going to take a look at the family setting. When was the last time you thought of family in the extended way, as the African tradition likes to put it? And we have known our people to be people who are very communal, very community based, very community spirited, because my mother will tell you, if you're a new person in the vicinity, they can tell that you're a new person, and they would go on to ask you questions about that. But gradually, it seems as though we are picking the Western culture of solo walk. Some people will say we are moving into a place where everybody's pushing for a self-compound, self-contained, me by myself, God for us all. People can live next to their neighbors and not even know their names, and they are okay with it. And a lot of people too are talking about the tangent on which we are traveling today, especially when you visit our naming ceremonies, the naming of the people. The kids today carry names you can find in any region in Ghana. All 16 regions combined. You can find any of these names around. So it makes them even gradually lose touch with their own culture and tradition. And there are also parents today. I'm breaking up the topic for you to see the angles we'll be taking it from. And there are parents today who take so much pride in the fact that their kids do not speak their native tongue. And it brings them so much excitement that my child does not speak Ewe, my child does not speak Fanti, my child does not speak Chi, Brofunkwa. Are these some of the things we should be worried about? Because you cannot go to the Italian community and an Italian man will say that my kids cannot speak Italian. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen like that. You know, anybody who is from Japan will speak the Japanese language. Anybody from China will speak the Chinese language. And so, are we losing our identity gradually? I'm going to start with my brother, who is a number one ambassador for Pan-Africanism. KB, we spoke on Monday, was it?
Yes.
Or was it Tuesday?
I think Monday.
Yes. The phone call got so heated. I forgot I had a client in my office. We really talked a lot. Talk to me. Where do you think this thing is going? Where did we lose it? And where are we headed?
Okay, so anthropologically, by my observation, by observing human civilization and stuff, from what the academic literature I gather, if there's something like a caveman and those, they were a bit tribal. Then later became a bit regional, and there was a bit of socialism with earlier, whatever. But it got to a time, we started, as humans evolved, we started realizing individual talents and strengths and nuances and temperament. So we began to disintegrate and integrate into our various shades. So people who are agrarian or find themselves in where there's an agricultural topography or whatever, that is what they will find themselves doing. And if you are in a place where you have to hunt animals or rare animals and stuff, so at the end of the day, you realize one environment, but some parts where it is like there's vegetation, and they will take farming. Those near the coast, they will take fishing.
Yeah.
So then by occupation, can even define.
Yes.
Now what I've realized is the reason why it's as if the nuclear family is becoming the main thing is because of capitalism. Now everything that has economic rewards will be supported. There will be a gravitational pull, regardless of whatever your opinion about it. So there's a way I always make this joke that we men always call out some girls, oh, and they are shashi, and there's a show, she's a prostitute. But I tell my friends that if we don't go there in the night, and some of them they even use their children's school fees to go and patronize this prostitute. That trade ankegu. So it is actually men who are financing prostitution.
Yeah.
So let's stop calling out the girls because it's economics. For some people, it's existential.
Yeah.
So if now you have to learn Chinese for your child to be competitive in the world, you have no choice. Whether you are in Zimao, you are Ewe, you are Dagati, for that economic reason,
You must be bilingual.
Okay, so the truth is that nobody is rewarding you for speaking Dagati. Even among your friends, nobody even feels you are cool until if you can speak Spanish in Ghana among your friends. Do you know how girls who like that guy, hey, chance that Spanish guy, even what we call locally acquired foreign accent.
Yeah,
I know a lot of friends from high school that they can just hello man and they just you're slang, they use the word slang. Everyone says slang, cry you kumino. So you realize that even by social capital, you are gaining by just having a laugher. That's a local foreign accent. So once it rewards you, even in your social and climbing the social ladder, it will be reinforced. When we were growing up, pidgin became a trend, and the older folk, they were criticizing, oh, speak word. I told them that you cannot fight it. We are in a nation where we have 46 dialects. Everybody is coming with fancy this, and we have an official form of imposition, which is the English language, which is 42,000 kilometers away from us. We will pick a bit of each, and we will want to make it comprehensible. So you cannot fight pidgin because this time that I was very young, and I thought that was a very nerdy and very intelligent analysis. I was very proud of myself, and it's the case. You cannot expect people to speak Tree or in Zman at home, then between 7:45 a.m. and 3 p.m. they are going to speak English. Then that's a hybrid. You are going to have a hybrid, whether I like it or so. Pidgin has come to stay, so you cannot fight it. So first of all, the world has changed, topographically, geographically. Then economics. Anything that is being financially rewarded will continue. You were talking about colors of weddings, stuff like that. Once you gain social capital by doing what everybody expects, by the more in Ghana, the more exotic you are, the more refined and accomplished and enlightened you are presumed to be.
Yeah.
So that's why people will be like, oh, fake it, you make it. We have to. Because like the more you fake it that you are Western, the more you fake it that you belong, you are bougie, the more even when you enter a place, you are like the door is likely to be open for you. So authenticity will be lost, no matter how good intending our parents wants it to be. That's why some people will name their kids the Chanel and Gwen and those things. Meanwhile, they live in a kiosk. The idea is that if you kiosk nearby, but me too, Dimbia, when you enter among the Dadaba people, at least you too, Charlie. But when we're gonna, it's like, yeah, pompo, it's like, you know, say like, I go so to be there, it's like, you now already now, if I to complex, then your name too is forcing a frightened complex. So naturally, going, okay, then they'll make excuse that maybe, Charlie, maybe your parents are rich, but it got to a time, maybe banking crisis or maybe scared you, but because if you are going down, that maybe in the past, your parents were rich, they were probably in Switzerland. Or Belgium, I don't know the but on Bagan and the man Kuya, really big and Kuya. So it's like the name they are stuck. So there's something about exotic identity, Western identity, that will open doors for people's kids. That's why, regardless of how they are able to entrench their culture or heritage, they will choose Gwen over Akusia Kutu because of the social capital.
So quickly, so the direction of the world is now dictating how people should actually manage it.
No, they're West.
They're West.
Yeah, they are the top dog now.
So they are directing the world now.
And every civilization, somebody has directed. It's from Egypt, Persian, Greek, Roman. Now it's America.
Okay. But then the problem here, the underlying problem here, is not just about the language. It's about the culture of the people. Let's say, for instance, if you go to China, if you go to Japan, you will still find their people practicing their tradition, which is very, very unique to them. If you go to Scotland, you still find people wearing the thing they wear, you know.
Yeah.
So you cannot necessarily take it out of them. But now it looks as though if I appear in a particular way, at a particular function, or the last time we were talking about dressing, and we said that, oh, now it has become Friday wear when it should actually be all day wear.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we talk about the people in Dubai, in Qatar, and we see how they meet other foreign investors, and they are still in their Arabian, whatever that you call it.
Yeah.
They don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Nobody frowns on it. But here, it looks as though whenever you appear in that, everybody's like, hey, Obiase suit on
Okay.
So that is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
We are not really.
I
against
get
like
it.
the
So
language.
now what I've observed is it's only people of African descent that throughout the world they've been in Ghana, like they've been they are petting, like how do I say it in English? We've been dispersed everywhere, like so we are not originally there's not like the center is not holding within our heritage. Things are falling apart because, for example, people in Haiti, they'll have a mix of maybe something if they were from like Ivory Coast, somewhere from Guinea, and they bring them from everywhere, then they'll clam them as slaves, ship them to one place. So you realize that the identity crisis is coming from when he was young before the slave ship, maybe in the morning the mom would do a go-grow, like that thing, that ball is before they drink, before they go to the farm. This person too, so when I was growing up, we rather pour libation. It's what is without, not what's without. So you realize that they'll come with a certain caricature of a belief which is not strong and native enough. So when you take people like the Arabs, fortunately for them, Islam is couched within their culture.
Yeah.
Fortunately for the Indians, Hindu is couched within their culture. It's only the black man that his worldview is couched by somebody else and he has to swallow it hook, line, and sinker. So that's why you are seeing what you are seeing. So where I'm supposed to appear in the Fugu, when I rather appear in the Fugu because it's supposed to be my heritage month or whatever, I'll look weird because everybody is listening to okay, I want for those who are old school, if you know Elsa Clench was like a fashion consultant in CNN back in the day. Or Oprah did a bit of. If you are the old school type, or my mother's era, everybody was looking up to a certain British Edu or GTV on her. She became the standard then, but now it's Rihanna.
Yeah.
But in Ghana, how many people live in winter? How many people have spring collections? So you realize that Rihanna, she Rihanna, you see that she's aspiring to be Rihanna, but her climate, her environment is not Rihanna.
But it's still not stopping him or her from still being Rihanna.
Okay, so let me explain what I mean by that. For example, makeup.
Yes.
One thing I've realized is like black soap, the Alatasamna. I remember my first year in University of Ghana, I had some rashes, and then my uncle's wife was like, "Oh, I should use chocho soap." I can't believe tertiary level. The way they teased me for using chocho soap, I was shocked.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention some schools, but they will look like they are being sellers. They teased me for using a made in Ghana, and actually their rashes was working. And one guy, like, he's a big man, I can't mention his full name. He called one day at the bar and said, "Charlie, Mami Philip." He had some rashes. He realized that mine had gone. And at the end of the day, I withstood it, and now my room, M something. It's near former Okudjeta Black West Brewery, so I want to be careful. Obvious as this home used to be. So the thing is that how many people will be resilient enough to stand to what is true till it becomes fly? And yet, the average person is not very resilient like we want them to.
Pastor James, this issue about lost identity, but let me get a little personal with Pastor James. Have you ever been to an event where when they are doing too much of tradition, you think they are taking too much time? Like
an engagement.
Like an engagement.
Hey, please, correction, family.
Okay, like the marriage ceremony, traditional
yes.
marriage ceremony. You know, when you appear somewhere and too much tradition is being discussed, if you are Western or if you are modern,
mental
you begin to say, so this is, let me tell you what. I traveled to Kumasi to do an event, and I was booked by a client, and the client made me know that they're gonna have a traditional marriage ceremony, and right after that they'll do the reception. I got there and I started. After every statement, an old man would call me and would advise me, I will go back, correct it. The moment I move into my next line, this man calls me again. He tells me, Baby, I will drew no train, na me kasa first. And at a point, it got so boring for me because I hadn't learned, this thing. So what did I do? I quickly told myself from that day that I am not doing traditional marriages again.
Same.
Now we are shamming.
Yes.
Sorry.
And until today. But the man said something that struck me, which I thought became necessary for me to learn. He said, I'm going to translate. Say, very, very smart guy like you, and it dawned on me when I was coming back to Accra, I was thinking about what the man said. And I felt like the man actually has a point. Like, how is it that I don't know anything about my own culture? That here you don't speak first. This person has to speak. When they speak, then now you respond. And I realized that, we are really taken aback because we are not learning it. And it doesn't matter to us. So this loss of identity, borrowed culture, living on modernity and not necessarily our own tradition and all that, what has been your perspective about it?
With marriage ceremony, I have not witnessed a lot of the traditional ones.
Okay.
But the few of the traditional ones.
I'll invite you to my own.
The few of the traditional ones that I've witnessed, I mean, it's good. It looks original, it looks African, and I believe in everything we can adjust it or refine it or keep purifying it. So if we think there's something that makes it boring, there's something that makes it tedious, I think we can look at it and adjust it. Because like I said the other time, we Africans should look at something that we will do, that the world will look at it and they will feel that what they are even doing is inferior. So if we can refine certain things in our culture, in certain, whether marriage ceremony or whatever African, we can refine it. I believe there should be a room for that improvement, so that anybody that sees our marriage ceremony would be like, let me stop even wearing suit and wedding gown. Let me also get some kente and any other African wear to also do mine. So I believe there may be some certain things maybe that'll drag it, that'll make it boring. I believe we can look at it, but who will sit down and do it is the big deal now.
But you see the introduction of the year of return. We all saw what it did to the Ghanaian economy when the year of return was introduced. People that we never thought were going to visit the African continent ended up visiting us and learning from us. They started eating our food, they started learning our language. Some of them were so proud they had visited Africa. So I think there is a way. An initiative must be started by someone, some way, somehow.
Exactly.
And that is one of the ways that we can address some of these issues.
Exactly.
Sometimes I ask myself, what if former President Kufuor didn't introduce the Friday way? We would still be in our suit and tie throughout every, and yes, that was going to be the practice. So in your capacity, you as a pastor, where you sit, what are some of the things that you think if we introduce into our worship, or we introduce, I know Perez does it very well in the Ghana month, just because I'm a member of Perez. And I think it's one of the initiatives started under this particular establishment that I really adore. During the Ghana month, every song that is ministered on stage must be Ghanaian. It's either a tree song, a Ghana song, an Ewe song. As much as possible, they try to integrate the culture into the service. And some people are taught some of the things that they should know about different cultures, covering all 16 regions. So from your position as a pastor, what are some of the things that you think you can teach? Because I want to ask you a question, but that one KB and I discussed it sometime on Tuesday.
So just like you said, by the grace of God, I'm also a pastor at Parish Chapel, and it's something that I really appreciate, to dedicate a whole month to celebrate Ghanaian culture. It's not just even singing. It's not just even in the dressing. Even in food.
Yeah.
Yes, food. Like typical Ghanaian food. So there are some people who have eaten pizza, they fly them here, but they see important like, what is this? So the first time they taste it like, this thing, excuse me, it doesn't really look attractive, but it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice, which one? There's this one, there is it? A fly and then palm nut soup. Which one is the apapransa? I think these are nice people.
Delicacy.
Yes, it's very typical. You understand it. Can we have such, not just only there's a Ghana month, maybe December or like an additional month to keep bringing it into the memory or the minds of Christians, where we dedicate Sundays for that, and even we leaders wearing such, maybe how do we put it, maybe even a day that is not a Sunday that is not really a Ghana month, or we are not celebrating, but then the preacher man is in a typical African dress, that will, and today we are on social media. As you are preaching, your message is being broadcast on Facebook, YouTube. If God has blessed you so much, you have a television station that's global, and the whole world is watching you. They look at your outfit, they're like, oh, this is nice, this is a hoodie, but you have some African prints, attached to it and all that. It's also, I believe, even the clothes we wear as pastors or as our music ministers, as our MCs, not necessarily only a day dedicated for celebrating Ghana man, but our clothes that we wear. And if we have opportunity to the occasions in the churches, as a picnic, instead of bringing pizza, and can't we do, like I was saying, a papransa with some crabs or something on it, something, real African food, you understand? So that somebody goes to America, but yes, they are craving for their own, African food. So I believe the church has a lot to do, and where I find myself, I mean, we are pushing, and we are doing our best to really push this African stuff out there.
Let me come to Ginger. Ginger, you speak 5 languages. 5 Ghanaian
dialect.
Language is Spanish, French. The rest are the ones she's talking about.
I speak languages.
What are you talking about? What do you
is
mean
that
by
not a language?
dialect?
Which of the ones you speak is on Google?
Where is on Google? No, I can't is on Google. Leave me alone.
Okay, we put
At least she has a so move on.
Where is there? I can't is there.
There's a difference between dialect and language.
Yes, dialect is variations of a language group. So
Yeah,
I can't,
so
for instance,
Fanti.
you have the
So Fanti is a dialect.
Fanti is actually
Achim is
No, the Akan language,
Akan,
we have
Akan.
Chi, we have Fan, we have Equiapim, like it's like a sub-sectional
so that's a
linguistic
dialect.
department.
yeah. So if you take Ewe for instance, there is the Anglo Ewe, there is a
Bedouin.
those
and
are
all that.
dialects.
So the various spectrum
Yes.
of linguistic and
the
So the
branches.
language is the mother,
Language is the mother, yes, and dialects
and
are
the
the
dialects are the branches.
children. Yes, they are the children, yes.
Interesting. I learned something new today. I didn't even know.
so we almost suman into the home.
But I speak 5. Let me
You are by
Hey,
multi-dialectal, not
I'm
multilingual.
multilingual. I beg, I'm multilingual. I'm multilingual.
We do a
If I have- now,
You
who come in LinkedIn now? We are multilingual.
Multilingual.
Baby, just.
Okay, let me come to Ginger. Would you actually push to have a straight up traditional marriage and not really care about the white wedding?
Oh yes.
You push for that.
I wouldn't push for that, but I wouldn't mind. So pushing means I would deliberately go for that, which I won't.
Okay.
But then if my husband decides that this is what he wants, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying I won't push for it because I find myself in the church space a lot.
Okay.
And also I've come to understand that marriage is not really about the couple, but it's more about the families
In
that
Africa.
build the couple in Africa, yes. And I myself, the more I grew, I see myself wanting something private, something personal. Because I'm not really all about the fanfare. For me, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and all of these things. But I'm also not stupid enough to think that, okay, here's what I'm the woman, so I get the final say. It's a two-way thing. It's both of you come together, you agree on what you do, and then you go your way. So that's it. Yeah.
So technically, don't you think that marriage is actually between families? I struggle to understand people when they say for Africans marriage is between families, but marriage is between who?
So when you go to there, I think what the reason why they're saying that is the way the African marriages are performed, the processes that you have to go through to even get to the day of the marriage. There's a lot of family influence for right from day one. So, for example, you can't go out there get engaged. Mommy, daddy, I'm engaged. You are finished. You can't do that. Whereas in the outside, maybe we meet in school, we date. At least from what we have seen, we meet outside, we date. We get engaged before we go and tell our family. But in Africa, it's the other way around. When I see you and I'm dating you, even when we want to move further, we first have to go and see the family. Oh, my dad, this is the man I'm with. This is the woman I'm with. That is the first step. Then when it comes to Koko is the family's meeting. It's not you and him. So right from the onset, the families are meeting. Then it comes to the traditional marriage itself. The list that you are given, you don't write the list yourself. The list is it's a consultation. There are assigned people in the family who have a say as to what goes into the list. And this list was prepared based on the family that you're coming from. So each family differs. There are some basics, but because it's family unique, each family will take or add. So that is why in Africa, because in Africa, it really is a family thing and not a couple thing.
But shouldn't that be the actual thing? Would you prefer to settle down with somebody that your family wasn't aware of?
See, so it's tricky in this sense. So you see, aware, yes, but involved. There's a difference. So aware is me telling you that, okay, here's what I am dating. Maybe say Smart. No, okay, well, let me say Pastor James. I'm dating Pastor James, right? And then you don't have a say. So no matter what you say, I'm still marrying him. But in the African setting, an uncle of yours who may not have paid any of your fees, who has zero, who didn't contribute anything, can raise a genuine objection, and it can break that relationship. So that is the thing. So there is awareness, and then there is, in Africa, the family is involved.
So I think this is one of the reasons why this topic is brought up. If we are shunning the involvement of family in a very critical institution like marriage, I know there are people who have these one bias, two very, very ethnocentric views about marriages. Apart from they being biased, some of them are very ethnocentric. Some of them are, I think KB refers to it as economic economic considerations. The involvement of the family is critical.
Becoming minimal.
I think it matters. It should be heightened. When we take a look at the examples in the Western culture, how people elope, like they like to call it, they go to the Las Vegas, they sign, they come back home, no oversight, nothing.
Yeah.
These marriages, we all have seen, records have shown, statistics have shown that they do not last. They do not last. So, if back in the day, I'm a very traditional man when it comes to some of these things. If back in the day, yes, I'm very traditional when it comes to these things, families got involved and not necessarily got the best out of it, but they were able to put in some necessary checks, like we look into the background of the person. Is there any sickness? Is there any curse? Was the father a thief? Did he pass on the thievery to his son? You know, all those things matter. And people had to go look into their background, came back with a report. Based on the report, the establishment was made. But today, we have just adopted the borrowed culture. So I want to pick my partner, and I don't want anybody to have a say about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I'm paying for my wedding, so what business do you have talking about it?
that is dangerous, because you see, at the end of the day, you are from a family.
Oh.
So,
Pastor James, don't steal my thunder. So the thing is,
Yes.
we need to go back to the basics. You see, I was blessed not to have been born in Accra, and for me it's a big deal. Not to have been born in Accra was a blessing for me in hindsight, because then I got to experience family in its entirety. So when I was born, my grandparents were alive.
Okay.
They played an active role in how I grew up. So my grandfather had 14 children. God rest his soul. He had 14 children. And what he did was, when you come to his house, each child was assigned a room. So it's like a rectangular thingy.
The communal.
Yes, so that is where you are. Even for those, some of them who were married and their husbands were not. My dad was not in Ghana at that time, so my mom lived. So I had that thing. You understand? And for me, it's a blessing because we still have that. I'm so connected very much to my extended family.
Okay.
I have my aunts, my uncles, and some days when they come back to Accra, they sleep in my father's house till date.
Oh.
We have in fact this December we are all being summoned to the village. We are going. No matter who you are, you have to show up.
Yeah.
And for me, that is where everything is going apart now. You see, I don't have a problem that you have moved out of the village, but you cannot tell me that you have left your culture behind. This is why I keep on saying that, look, no matter where you find yourself, you came from some place, okay? The thing is, where did you come from? Whatever even when you marry and you move on, you can still have that thing. Teach your children the culture. I don't know where or why we have decided that the fact that we have migrated from the rural areas to the urban areas means that we are going to urbanize and forget everything. For me, that's a problem. Because you see, the family is the smallest unit of society that exerts influence on you. Whether you like it or not, your family has a big say in how you start up.
Yes.
Your socialization starts right from birth. When the marriage happens and you come to the naming ceremonies, we go call those obscure uncles and aunties because we cannot do without them.
Yes.
When you are done with the ceremony, it doesn't mean that even when they go back, teach your children something. For me, that is where the problem. You see, I am not against us going to university, traveling abroad, and everything, but we shouldn't lose ourselves just because we are chasing paper or because we find ourselves geographically removed from what geography has got nothing on you. Because when Ghanaians are in abroad, they are still going to the African market to buy yam. They still buy kinky.
Yeah.
What is costing you to buy a certain yam for? I remember I went to London. I went to buy watch for 70p or dollars. Do I have ball? Watch it.
Wow.
When I come, it was 70 cities actually. That was like 2018. Watch it for 70. It was just watch it, Gary macaroni and fish. Because when I went to London, I was craving. I couldn't manage the fish and chips. Now on the seat up. So I went to this Ghanaian shop.
Yeah.
And I went to buy wache. See me, I 7 pounds.
Yeah.
I bought wache, I bought jollof. When I converted, it was 70 Ghana, 2018. Charlie, my head, they bust. Like, I'm like, why am I buying wache for this much? So, case in point, I travel, I move out of Ghana. I go to London. I go and buy wache. What made me crave for wache to go for wache?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Those who live abroad, they are constantly asking people to
bring
ship
stuff all the way there.
So that means that you haven't lost everything. There is still that one.
Yeah.
So why do you pick and choose? Why do you choose the food but refuse to teach your children where they come from or what it is? I don't understand.
The difficulty surrounds the traditional marriage.
For me, forget about marriage. Let's bring it down to the family. I think you see, when we deal with it on a family basis, it makes the world easier because it's the smallest unit of society.
Okay.
Be it the nuclear family or the extended. When we are dealing with the nuclear family, it's mad. I can move from the Volta region and go and marry somebody from Savannah region. We meet. When we give birth, we should be able to teach our children a bit from the Volta region, a bit, make them well-rounded individuals. There is nothing wrong with it. When I see you and we are communicating, I am flawless in the English language. You won't even think I speak a word of any Ghanaian language. The same way when I switch to a certain ground, you think I don't speak English. Same with all the languages I've learned. So it can be done. It is possible. You only have to make it a point to do these things.
It's possible.
No, it is possible to still see to be a well-rounded.
Okay.
It is possible to be a well-rounded. There's even beauty in it, because I have had the doors have opened for me because of that thing. People deal with me better because of that thing. My ability to speak a certain, maybe say, because I studied when I went to school, just 3 years, I studied the language because I found myself there. Maybe I'm gifted, I appreciate, but at least I put in there. My own is that our families that we have nowadays, from the family level, no matter the kind of wedding you have, the kind of what marriage you have, at least understand that once the children start coming, let us start teaching them a bit of who they are.
But
Just a little bit.
KB holds a different view. I think
Right.
when he mentioned, you made my mind go there. KB mentioned that, looking at the direction of the world, it has become very social and very economic. So the socio-economic,
Capitalist.
but it's a socio-economic issue.
Yes.
Yes. So at the end of the day, it's making people choose.
It's about we are rewarding. Yeah,
But you see-
but fluency in English. That is
KB.
what kids was.
You don't
then
get it
again,
all. Mine is-
where is the peculiarity?
Mine is.
Where is the unity?
I'm not saying don't learn how to speak English.
No,
All I'm
that
saying
the
is
frustration we identify today is because it is socioeconomically rewarding for a child
To speak
know
Spanish.
I
how
don't
to dance
have-
ballet and speak
I don't
like
have
the queen.
okay, I don't have a problem with
That
that.
is why you will
do
continue
not
to
have a problem
struggle
with
with
it.
the fact that less and less people are looking more Ghanaian because it is less socioeconomically beneficial to look Ghanaian at Ghanaian.
So,
But there is
for
nothing
instance,
wrong.
right? Let me put this across. There's been a lot of backlash for this comrade from the National Democratic Congress. A young man called Eledem went on TV and he was bashing the former president,
Okay.
right? And he passed a very, very bad comment. Now, after that, there is this lady who was running for MPship, Della Goldhart. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I know
Della
that
Goldhart.
controversial
So
lady.
yes, so she put up a post yesterday, and a lot of people were fighting about it. Now, this was her argument. She doesn't understand why the former president who addressed the nation in Akan language.
Why?
So good.
But he's
so,
Akan.
So now this is the argument. Why is it that
Eh.
why is it that now,
Wow.
like you and I were having the conversation on Monday, why is it that now somebody feels like, no, why is this person speaking this particular language? Why is this person? But you see, the context of the interview were Kumasi based
Forget
presenters.
context.
No, it's important we bring that in view. They were Kumasi based presenters who had gathered at the home of the former president to interact with him.
Yes.
All four presenters were from Kumasi.
Yes. Or your power was there.
And Pure FM,
Yes,
or
or
Yoruba,
Yoruba, yes.
Lawson TV,
Yes.
and I think it was
There was a
Hello
lot-
FM
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
It would be far-fetched for you to tell these people who probably initiated this particular interview to come and speak English with the former president.
Okay.
When from where they are coming from, everything they do is in the Cree language.
But me, I'm coming.
You know, so it looks as though Ginger, hold on a minute. I know if I respond.
Nah, boy.
Though I get where you are coming from,
No, I don't.
I get where KB is coming from because you see, okay, something like IT, all right, we are originally not IT people. We are fishermen. We are
How no society has ever been original IT.
no, but the ones that champion it are not necessarily.
We
the
don't
IT.
champion it in
We don't
Ghana.
champion it.
Tech is part of humans.
But it's
You
a
don't
skill.
get
Do
it.
you know Opo Trap? When we were kids, we went to
Maybe catapult here.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Opo Trap is different from.
Opo Trap. Oh, Abuano. Turtle doves.
Yeah.
Turtle doves. That thing we used to cut turtle doves. You put some lasers and those old, you know, actually.
No, actually,
that was
yeah.
tech.
Yeah, I protect.
That was tech.
Okay.
You see,
Okay,
Pastor James is
okay,
hard
well-
it sounds a bit
well,
ridiculous for
I'm
him to
talking
talk
about- I'm
nobody
talking-
was born with
No,
tech.
what's calm down before you
No,
go off.
okay,
What
so
he's
it's
talking
a
about
bias.
is
Okay, so maybe I didn't get it right, or I didn't put it right.
Yes.
I'm talking about these like data,
Coding
like
and
coding
Yeah.
stuff.
It's just evolution of
Great.
information.
but we are not championing so
But
much
that's what you
here.
are talking about.
Because you see, that is
it's
what I
a
beg to-
demanded skill
Uh-huh.
today, so people would certainly go for that.
Okay, don't forget that in the West, they are very decompartmentalized. So, tech is stronger there because, for example, in Ghana, I beg to differ that even the megaphone thing, the evangelism, you can actually wake up in my this so like this part of the our ocean where 300 people in one community can speak their account. Somebody can actually wake up 5 a.m.
And speaking of
reach
over-
a tree because everybody there understands the tree. In Abuja, there's an Indian, there's a Pakistani, there's an Australian, there's some Ghanaian UN delegation that at that particular. You might have to send text messages so everybody's dialect or whatever. So I'm saying that the reason why we think the white people are pushing tech more is that by where they come from, their sophistication of their society.
But did they originate from Africa?
Pardon me?
Did tech
Okay.
originate from Africa?
Yes, there's a history to it, and they have added on. Every
How did we
civilization
get
has
to tech?
added
Please
on.
let's
Every
get back
power
to
has
that.
added
Please
on.
come back to that because
so
my
I'm
fire,
coming-
my fire will not
The
die.
reason why I'm speaking this, I will let's correct this impression that Africans have not added anything or spearheaded anything.
No, no.
It's very,
that's
very
I think
precise.
let's not even go there.
That's not the point.
Can I
No,
come
no,
in
you, but
at
like,
this
I'm
point?
throwing it out.
Can I fire the
All
girl
right,
now?
please, you can.
No, for me, this no. Look. If not for this show, I would have used words because I feel very strongly about this thing. what is wrong if somebody chooses to communicate in a particular language? It is not the person's fault. And if there's a media, there's something called subtitling.
Yeah.
What is she on about? Media has now moved from traditional media. There's they've evolution. They are doing things. So if the man spoke in Akan,
You can subtitle.
exactly. And what is the big deal about? The man is Akan for crying out loud.
What
is wrong with this? What is wrong with this thing?
Lady, I think she got it where she was. I think it's like former. He's still a statesman, remember?
Yeah.
And the official state language is English. So I think that's where
Gentleman.
she was.
But the thing
I
is,
think in her mind,
True, that's her
a
argument.
statesman
But
is supposed to speak the official language.
no,
It was
and
a
no. I
private
disagree.
interview,
No,
so
the
I
thing
think
is, no.
that's
For
where-
me, I disagree. I will disagree with her today. I'll disagree with her tomorrow. I don't understand that mentality. Mentality.
He might have to have
Me-
spoken in
no,
English because
no,
that is
but
official
no. You see,
state
no.
of
Here's
government.
the
His
thing. I'm
mind is
coming.
private
I
capacity.
am coming.
As an ex-president.
Even
so that one will
if
have to
our
be
sitting president
you cannot
decides,
swear in.
I'm coming.
What isn't 7?
I am
Yeah.
We can't
coming.
swear in a president.
I
in
am
chief.
wait,
That is not official.
wait,
That's
wait,
not
wait,
official,
wait.
So the
Even
last,
if
And you can't code in tree.
oh, you can.
no, you
That's
see,
different.
here's
You
the
can-
thing.
you
No,
can
here's
code
the
in
thing.
every
Here's the
language.
thing.
You
No,
can code it.
no.
Coding is a very contextual. Don't
Yeah.
get
So
caught.
no, here's the thing. Here's the thing. For me, I think we need to move beyond. You see, we keep on using this excuse.
Which excuse?
The whole that everybody gets like that. Oh, let's all speak English because of this. But I dare say there are things behind. There are nuances. I have schooled. I have been many places. I schooled in the Volta region for a very long time. 3 years is enough. I have seen things. I have heard things. I've had, because of my work, I used to be in radio, so I used to travel around, and I still travel a lot. So I've seen that when people come at you from that angle, trust me, it is not as clear as you. There are nuances that I cannot speak to because they may be like, there's no research to back it up. There's no data, so I'm not going to go into it. But for me, I think, you see, we need to get to the point where we need to go beyond ourselves. You see, you were born in a particular region. Let me say you are Akan. It doesn't stop you from learning Hausa or a certain Dagati or Dagari or something. There is nothing wrong with it. And if somebody decides to come in, you see, that is where we are coming from. You see, we don't want to, for me, I feel like Ghanaians do not want to open up.
Cognitive flexibility.
Yes, we are so, and for me, that is problematic because, you see, last time I said something that if we are all to learn 3 or 4, there will come a point where language will not be a problem any longer. And learning a language doesn't take away your pride in your people.
Yeah.
I am Guan. But speaking away or speaking God doesn't make me lose my identity as a Guan. Never ever. It even helps me because what I do now, what I did from before was because I'm Guan by a bear Akan name, so I've always had issues. All my names are Akan, and I'm nowhere close to Akan. I'm not Akan, right? So what I used to do was that when I went to school in the Volta region, they had a problem with me because as at that time my people were part of the Volta region. Now we are OT. So the Ewes felt that I was ashamed. That is why I couldn't speak the Ewe language. And that is why I say I'm not Ewe.
Okay.
There was this general view that everybody from the Volta region was an Ewe, which is wrong. It's still wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Even until this. So what I used to do was when people come at me like that, I took the opportunity. I always give history lessons, still date. I still do that.
Yeah.
I bear Akan. All my names are Akan. If I tell you I'm Akan, you believe me. Because all my names, not even one sounds from where it is that I come from. I don't even have an Ewe name. I don't have one and all. So I think that we need to get to the point where, as I keep on saying again, as a family, when you are born, what language were you born with? If your mother is Akan, your father is Ewe, trust me, a child can learn both languages before he or she turns 3. And the child can be fluent. And research has actually shown that children learn English better when they start from home with their mother tongue.
Yeah.
I am proof of that thing. I didn't speak English till I was 7. That's when I learned how to speak English. And today, I can rival the best English speakers, both in writing and speaking, everything. Nobody can you can't take it away from me. You understand? So, for me, I feel like, right from the family, we need to come back to the basics. And I'll say this all the time. When you marry, even when you are dating, have that conversation. Oh, when our children come, how are we going to approach this? Maybe I may not speak your language, but we need to agree. Some languages are a bit easier to learn because of the numbers. There are some languages are like more, there is more, but you can also teach the person. My word is, what is wrong in learning somebody else's?
Let me come to KB before I can start some things quickly. KB, how was your upbringing like? in terms of language, I see that you speak Ga a lot.
It's not good though. Like it's not good though. Like he's from the Shona there. Hey, you
I see.
Hey, even me, I don't speak Ga like
I
this.
see that you speak Ga a lot, and you know I got the opportunity to learn a bit of Ga.
And he speaks like typical,
Yes,
like
yes.
inside Ga.
So,
Actually,
how was yours like?
I had Ghana friends
Okay.
growing up, but I grew up in Laponi,
Okay.
so we share a border with like
La.
Labadi, Apapa.
Please, it's La.
Osu.
Hey, Papa.
It's La.
It's La. Well, first was Labadi.
Please, it's La.
No. I grew up in Labadi. I wrote
Where?
SSS.
Where?
I didn't write.
Where?
I,
Yeah.
KB.
I went to
We are
secondary-
those old
KB.
people.
KB. Cafe coin.
Okay.
O cafe coin,
Yeah.
bien. Il y a café coin. Café coin. Il y a là.
So there's something about the Ghana culture that I like. It was very easy going. Let's be happy.
Imagine that.
No canon, no feel.
Ah, Joe.
I don't want to. So it's like as a young interacting with the world. One part is changing. Like my co side, we are always saving, we are always conservative, we don't chill, no party, we wear one clothes for
Creole rather?
yeah, I'm
But did you speak the language
You
at
don't
home?
you don't chill?
Did you speak
No,
the language at
that's-
I
home?
think that's why maybe my wife likes you a lot because
Yeah, yeah.
my wife is an Achim, so that I realized that you guys don't chill. You guys
No, they're
No, it's Easter. They're only they are frugal. Kwewus are known to be frugal. They are.
You guys are
They are very
expensive?
they are very frugal people. Trust me,
Okay.
they are
It's
frugal.
Ashantis who are a bit
Flamboyant.
bit-
Yes, Ashantis are
So-
flamboyant.
So it's affects the world. So most of my friends were in Ghana,
Mm.
and when we were growing up, Osu, Oxford Street, there were this then Carnival. The famous at the 99 Carnival. Like,
Yeah.
Also carnival.
yeah,
Yes,
it was
those
so-
days.
Where you go after 31st.
Yes,
So I think
those
it's
days.
something with the coastal dwelling. I don't know. I've not been to Jamaica, but it's like all those around the coast.
Yeah,
all wherever
the
there's water bodies, it's like
Yeah.
there's some sanguine.
Cape
vibe
Coast,
it
Cape
comes
Coast
with.
is like that.
Yeah,
Cape Coast is
Coast-
just like
I don't
that.
know, but
Yeah.
there's like
Elmina,
some
they are all
marine,
like that.
Marine.
You should- You
And
should
then
see
a bit of-
the Orange Festival of the
yeah,
Apache.
Oh, that's true. Like
Marine
Bahamas,
spirit.
the people playing Pubia, and their women are a bit more. Well, you know,
Acho.
easy on the eye vibe, you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh,
as a
boy.
young kid, it caught on to me. So,
Yeah.
like, the girls became like a default.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why they always. You see, there's this perception. Oh, they are always happy, go lucky.
Yeah.
So that's what caught me as growing up. And I did Ghana in school.
Okay.
So it's
too,
like the
same here.
language, all my Ghana teachers, the influence they had on me, the naming, whatever. So I understood Ghana culture and Ghana history. Ghana
Chonlo.
music. So Chonlo. I remember sometimes
Chonlo
our Ghana
Amokwoti.
teacher wrote the Ghana alphabet. I didn't originally, and frankly, know there was no C
There's no
in Ghana.
In the Ghana.
So with all my
Tudu,
enthusiasm, I
Acho.
could ask, oh, Chonlo fan is C baby.
Aje, koya
Yeah,
wagwa.
Mr. Tenchu, he thought I disrespected. Charlie chased me the whole class. Charlie, up to now, anybody went to Laboni as he remembers it. John Over and see me. Like, he thought I was disrespecting, trying to do. I genuinely didn't know that there was no C in there. Charlie, the man ball. He literally sacked me from his class.
So you had to learn that there was no C in the
Yes,
Ghana.
in a very interesting
Traumatic.
way. Good. So, the Ghana to me, as a young person, came in as a life experience. Through academics and through social interaction. Now there was a bit you were saying you went to MC an event,
Yeah,
and then whatever.
had to learn.
Mine. I might do a traditional wedding again because I also didn't have mine. The male was Italian, the female was Ghana. So I was supposed to represent the Italian, and you know the clash of culture, and then the Ghana like so. It was not the nicest of experience. So I also wanted not to do traditional stuff because like small no. Then this man who is like he knows the guy that made more than then you come into you have aired you don't say I was feeling very embarrassed and
Yes.
and it was a Zoom live
Zoom
thing.
live
The
thing.
Italians were watching from New York. I was like I was like no, my brand is being
Like
attacked.
he's throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, it's like because people are also doubting my
MC
brand is like
skills.
to interpret a thing and hold down the whatever. So I was very uncomfortable. So I was very way with traditional. So now
Very
I don't
ceremonies.
tilt too much to it. And even funerals.
Yes, funerals.
There's a way.
I don't do funerals.
Well, I do now because it's kind of like good money and Ghanaians like free now. So for
Yeah.
me, I'm going to actually.
It's good money, but I don't
I'm
do
going
it
to broker
because Charlie.
some-
And yeah, so,
Yeah, when you have royalty, make sure you have your bases right. Do your homework
the
before.
tribe, the clan.
No, I
Yeah, the
think for
royal
me,
home.
whoever
Learning.
whoever gives you the contract has a responsibility of taking you through a class. So who hired the person who gave you the contract erred greatly by not sitting you down. And that is where what you're speaking about is coming in. We are concerned about the pomp and pageantry and not the intangible aspect of the culture. And that is the problem that we are facing. That you are getting married doesn't mean that you should look. That's why I keep on saying that the family, because you see, if it's the father that brought you in, the father should know better.
And that's my struggle.
father should know
now,
better.
This is very debatable.
The father is older.
I mean, KB might fight you.
Ask.
Oh no,
You
no,
know,
no, this is the
sometimes,
truth. God is-
sometimes, you know, for the MC business, okay, there are certain things, honestly, I think shouldn't be the job of an outside MC. One, some people are required to state their clan,
Asana,
Yeah,
Breakthrough,
tribe, and all that.
eh,
And I see a lot of people making a lot of mistakes at events
Yeah.
where they assume, like, let's say they've heard a name, Boateng. Then, because
said
they know
today.
a lot of Boatengs are from this, let's say, Amekom or Asokwa or this thing, they quickly use that. Then they are told, someone signals them that, Debbie, yeah, you're free.
Enti nipa na ọma awo edwuma na ọ na afọ.
So I think let's as MCs or industry event people, I think it's high time we integrated the family heads or the family
Yes.
into the planning.
But you see, that
Or
is
Kumewura
not no.
friend or
Debbie,
speaker
Michelle, Debbie, you
with the
can't do that
event.
as an MC. Your whatever is limited to whoever gave you the contract.
Yeah,
If
so
the person
I think
doesn't open the door for you, you cannot go ahead of that
I
person.
will push it down.
Yes,
Because
if
I
you
don't
can't,
look
yes.
silly like I look in that Italian. and
Enti
that
nipa na
language.
ọma awo edwuma na ọfọ mo yẹ. Ideally, more you see, I like MCs. You are professionals, so you have the right to go to every space by virtue. More where say a professional body. MC is not a professional thing. You learn it, you study it,
Yeah.
so you can go everywhere. Like saying somebody, a chartered marketer can enter, which that's what, so whoever it is gives you the contract, the person has to brief you. The fact that you don't know culture shouldn't stop you from doing your, because it's a work you are doing. It's a service you're rendering.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I am getting married and I say, Smart, come and MC my wedding, and I come from Konya in the OT region, it is beholden on me to go to my father. If my father is not alive, to go to whoever it is and now say, when it comes to traditional marriage ceremony, how do you do A, B, C, D? And based on what I have, I will feed you with it, and then you are good to go. Because you see, culture shouldn't be a barrier. You see, we are making the culture. Me, I feel say I say, excuse me, and I found a new question. Some previous because and I made me feel so okay. Here's what. But you see, the thing is, you can't do away with it. You
But
need it.
At the end of the day, if you really take a look at the way that marriage ceremonies are run today, it's not really about the uniqueness of our culture. It's all about the jokes and the nice things. Some of these
Because-
achiames are coming up
Do you-
as saying at the event over.
Do you know why the problem is? So now what is happening now is that those days, if you are given a list, the list is very ethno-specific.
Yes.
No, ethno-specific. Yes, ethno-specific in the sense that even when you come to where I come from, for instance, we have 9 towns that comprise the whole town. And when you move from town A to town B, there are little differences. So if you are marrying from this town, what town A would do, town A wouldn't do that. There are similarities, but there are unique aspects as well. So those days, you realize that when my cousin was getting married, for instance, my place there is a culture. When after they have presented the items,
Yeah.
there are aunties. That is a mother's. In my place, your mother's sister is your mother. Una kuma na una penny. We don't do
But still,
auntie
your
on that
mother,
side.
your mother, your mother.
No, So what happens is those women, when after they've rented the things, they carry the things to the room. The women go to the room, open up the suitcases, check it against the list.
Yeah, I experienced that.
And then come
Yeah.
back.
Ghana
I can guess I can
Never. No, and then come back. It's not for matter.
Come
Because
back.
Yeah, because some
There
people
are
will
certain-
present what is
It's
not
not.
on the list,
Uh-huh.
and they needed to be sure.
So I remember when my cousin's time came, she was upset. She was like, why would they do that? So she stopped them until date. Yeah, we'll be worried. They can't have some. Man, yet to say, because we.
Okay.
But now, no, most people are converting everything into cash.
Yes.
So you realize there are more envelopes. Those days you would see the things, everything from the waist beads. Nowadays, everything is being converted to cash. So that is also a bit. So now we are shortening the thing. So nobody now has time to go and check.
Pastor James, the way we are living today, the lifestyle today of the ordinary Ghanaian is kind of. Are you very much in touch with your family?
Are you a traditional man?
Nuclear family, yes.
Please, are you a traditional
Only
man?
nuclear.
Most
don't-
of the times only nuclear.
You don't look
Why?
too far to the extent that.
It depends.
So can you say you know 5 cousins?
Oh, of course.
You know them.
First remove the second and third remove.
What I've realized is that theology in Ghana doesn't have a lot of cultural inclinations, and it's a problem.
Theology.
Yes.
Yeah, their theological trainings.
Yeah.
It's too Western heavy.
Yeah. And actually,
How do you mean?
Okay, like he might be innocent, he might be genuine, not knowing, but like most pastors, there's a way subliminally after passing by you alienated from your extended family. Oh, they want to do you.
Right.
There's a way that, for example, a lot of pastors I know, they know Abimelech's bloodline, they know Abraham's cousin who he married, wherever they ate their. They don't know.
at
anything
all,
about-
they know Jesus' genealogy.
I was
Right
read
from
that.
The show
when?
is over.
No, but it's true though.
They can tell you
And
from the
that-
book of Matthew.
But they stop at their great grandparents and they can't go beyond.
Yes, and it's not cool.
And
Because
it's
as a
bad.
pastor, you are
Abimelech beget who?
Pastor James, Pastor James, come inside. Pastor James,
So
this one is
Pastor
for
James
you.
might be
This
just
is
a-
a
just
serious point.
Yes,
No, but it's
and
true.
whenever I interact with people who, like, I know there's a Bible school called Kofi Crystal. I think Kofi is a Ghanaian. Crystal is like a foreign. So the way is very nuanced into Ghanaian context.
Yeah.
There was a time I was telling a friend of mine that we are the dollar, apart from Kenofrata's mishaps,
Yeah.
the dollar is also because of the importation.
Yeah.
Do you know the number of bottles of olive oil we import in the name of church? That one can even weaken. Actually, we have olive oil. We have
What's
in
it?
Kutu.
What's
We have shea butter oil in
Italy?
Singapore.
Italy require any say more.
Not just like-
We've not the biggest consumer of
So
olive oil.
Vatican crime
Ah,
is
if I-
our oil.
Yeah. So, for example, we have shea butter oil up north.
Exactly.
Why are we not intra?
Yeah.
Because when you
Yeah.
go
Uh-huh.
into
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay, they
theologically-
gave me that lazy Ghanaian explanation that if why didn't Jesus say share?
Okay, so that's the influence.
you know,
But the
so
truth is
there
that
is this
shea butter, the shea tree doesn't grow in Mr.
But we don't use the bread and wine from Israel for our communion.
We do.
so
Some
we have-
churches
Oh,
import.
some
Some
churches
churches
import.
import. Please, some churches
They
import.
do? Yes,
Okay, please,
they
they
import.
import. They import straight from Israel.
from
Trust.
the wine and the bread.
Even
Yes.
the what was shout prayer shawl. No,
shawl.
say you go for free on
Yeah,
there.
example.
And it has the Hebrew thing on
we
it.
imported.
I own one, so
We
I
bought a
know.
stone from Israel for
And
the
you understand
pivotal
what's
of the-
written on the shawl.
In Texas, my father said.
So all I'm saying is that.
But also for intimate,
Let's-
be
You see
okay.
the way recently I saw the minister of education. They
That's a worry. He owns the shawl with
I
Hebrew
don't.
writings.
I don't
That's-
understand.
that's
I don't
not
understand
something.
Jack. I don't
Well,
understand
for example,
Jack.
I
But I
told
trust
you-
the source. Where I bought it from? Where I bought it from? It's I made have it.
And let me wrap up with this.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that the tray in which we serve communion on, it was actually imported from people who worship idols.
The tree.
Let me explain. The tree.
But
Oh,
that's
but
not
there is
a big deal.
there is a
But-
lot
but-
of symbolism.
That's not a big deal. It's like buying
No,
food from
it
a
is.
Muslim.
No,
or-
it is
I mean,
because
you are. I
if,
mean,
if
that-
my dad, if my
So
dad
the
worships,
product-
mommy,
when it comes to me, okay.
If my dad worships Kweku free,
Yeah.
or you don't know him because you don't even know your Ghanaian
Who is that?
deities.
Is that
Or the one you know,
Continue,
Dogopo.
okay.
If my
yes,
father
that
worships
one, I know that
Dogopo,
one, yes.
and he has a manufacturing plant, and they manufacture trees, and your pastor comes and buys from my dad to go and say, hey, oh, papa now also no go put no aquato the tracy and find yame mojane no honamon.
No, no,
But
no.
when it's coming from Southeast Asia,
No.
with all their sprinklings and
disagree
their
with this.
funny deities, no, Ghanaians don't seem to have a
disagree.
problem.
You say
No, I
every
disagree.
tray uses
May
I
say,
disagree.
if-
No, the
if-
usage of it stems. You see, when you come, a
Where-
lot
where
of
do
the
these
symbolism.
families
I disagree. You see,
from-
It's not
I
even
don't mention
about-
certain countries.
one
Asian
okay, one at a time.
Asian places almost cartons now. They also have deities with snake
Yeah.
hands and elephant, whatever. I mean, person may too specific.
India for the canal on top.
Oh, now can India? I mean,
And yeah, he do his.
then the manufacturing hubs are from there.
What do you
But
mean?
when my dad has a manufacturing hub, but he worships Nobupo or Kwekufi, and he manufactures trays, Ghanaians will tell their church members not to buy a tray from my father's Nogopoic place to come and serve communion with it. But they serve communion from, they will buy trays and Chinese ware who they're not even speaking to, they don't even believe in Christ. They go and buy shawls from Israel who have said that if you preach Christ, you'll be prosecuted. The Jews don't even believe in Christ. But
That's how
Ghanaian
they
pastors
took
are
me,
more
Papa.
proud to bask in Israeli, not even their God of Abraham, Israeli nationalism than their own. That is my problem.
Charlie, we ask him
That's
because
the
we
Western
call
influence. It's quite well. The argument
And that is semi-illiteracy. Like a lot of our theological curriculum, we have to add on. Let's add on to our
We
faith.
shall not
Otherwise,
add on.
We will go and produce people
Okay.
who are supposed to represent God. They will rather represent Trump.
We will not add
They
on.
are representing NATO and the IMF, but they are not representing God.
We are doing 38 minutes into the hour of 3. You're live on Precious Television, and we are coming to you from our studios here inside the Perez Dome. Is, to be frank, the only Christian podcast that is frank about current happenings in the country. We are asking ourselves the big question: is the black man cursed? Why is it that the black man always pushes away the things that are very unique and peculiar to them, and jumping to embrace the Western culture, anything outside of the borders or the corridors of the Ghanaian, map? That one is more than welcome. But if it is from in here, we might have to take a second look at it. Now, in the studios with Pastor James, I'm with KB, the MC, I'm also with Miss Ginger. We were taking a look at the family setting and some of the things that we are practicing today, from language to marriage, traditional marriage ceremonies, and KB is now bringing a new dimension to the conversation, talking about the Western culture being very heavy in the theological study. So let me come to Pastor James.
Yes.
He's allowed to defend.
I like this. I like
No, I
this.
mean, but it's important.
Leave him alone. You leave Mr. James. You don't mind saying
Let me find out from my producer if we are picking any callers, because I really want to know about the language thing. I know a lot of parents take pride in the fact that
The way he annoys me.
a lot of parents take pride, but you can still
Because
send
it's
your
rewarding.
But it's
Yeah,
very,
I guess
it's
it-
very
but it's
annoying.
basic.
Yes,
you-
It's
No,
rewarding.
No,
Why
you
are we
don't-
going to
no,
invest?
you don't
Why are
listen,
parents paying-
KB, listen.
selling their
Let me-
clothes
let me-
for the
let me-
kids?
There is nothing wrong in being well rounded.
Okay.
What is the big deal?
let me do this quickly. You can send us
Oka
your
Kai, has your name been lost?
you can send us your WhatsApp message on
should stop that thing.
020-343-8710 or the number on your screen. Send me a WhatsApp message 020-343-8710. The Western heaviness on the theological study. Let's come to Pastor James.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Jeju.
like I said, last week, it all boils down to how you sell your product. It all boils down to the investment you put in your product. It all boils down to what do you have available, and even it's not just what you have available, but the investment that goes into it. Now, if we are bringing in, materials from which part is
India.
to come and serve.
He didn't say it. I said it.
Okay.
Allegedly.
There's no problem with that.
Ah,
Because
Hey.
number
When
one,
we serving Holy Communion from
say
somebody.
you said your
The
part.
pastor is speaking. Are you a
Say you
pastor?
said your part.
One
So,
at
Are you a
time,
pastor?
sorry.
So
One at
let
a
me
time, let him
Right.
land.
Are you a pastor?
yes, I understand.
Let him land.
So I understand him.
Yeah.
I understand him, and
However.
I also have a say on this.
Yeah.
If I buy a product with my money, it's not that the person is giving me, like, sponsoring what I'm doing with his or her product,
Yeah.
something they picked from somewhere to sponsor what I'm doing. This is my hard-earned money. And even in account, this is Sky Moja. This is a part of me
Your toil,
that is,
your
yes,
hard work.
my sweat that is coming to get a product that is available, not just available, but I've seen that you've invested so much excellence in the product. And I think this excellence can help what I'm also doing. So let me bring my sweat or my hard-earned money to purchase it. Now, when it comes to me also, since it narrowed it down to a spiritual body, which is the church, me as a church too, I know what to do with the item that I've purchased,
Yeah.
knowing where it is coming from. I know what to do. So I'm not just even giving you mine. I'm going beyond my sweat or my hard-earned money. After I've received it, I know what to also do to make it fit for the service or for the purpose,
Yeah.
or whatever I want to use it for, to make it fit for it. I know what to do. So it's not just because it's coming from this place. So if the thing is coming, I'm coming. Yes, from a Ghanaian deity and a Ghanaian fetish. Good. First problem is there's no fetish house producing serving trade.
No, let me
No,
explain
no,
what I
no,
mean. Like,
No, but we get your
Wait.
point.
Ah,
Kevin.
no, I-
So let me finish.
No, we get your
I
point.
allowed
We
my
get your point.
uncle.
So maybe when I end, you would understand the
Kevin,
totality of what
hold
I'm
on,
saying.
hold on. When you were speaking, I actually made
I was
him
quiet.
stop speaking.
So-
So let him land.
Well, I thought all you were saying, I understood it like you. I also had questions, but I kept
got
quiet.
your point.
Yes, but you don't understand. The
Your
rebuttal should
Okay,
should
so
attack what I
your
meant.
context is
So
is
it's the fetish
a
spirit that
Japanese
produces
or
it,
a Chinese
Uh-huh.
that owns
Doesn't
and
speak in
manufacturing.
tongues.
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me.
Oh, okay,
Let me get from the
I want to know
perspective
if Martin
where
was-
yes.
uh-huh.
A Chinese that owns a production company
Uh-huh.
that produces serving trade.
Uh-huh.
We have no knowledge of their religion.
No, we know.
We know that
or
they
yes, sir,
we
your
know their
people
religion.
movies.
They practice this.
Yes, and it's
And
not
so-
Christian. It's idol.
Is
Yes.
it come from their
Uh-huh,
shrine?
So that is an
Is it
assumption.
coming from their shrine?
It's maybe too specific.
But that is an assumption because a Chinese can be Christian.
No, I'm talking about we know the person is.
But is it
Hindu.
coming from their shrine?
No, the person is Hindu.
So you are
And
saying
then
that
when they do morning devotion, they will pray to the Hindu god and they will go to the manufacturing plant. But when the Ghanaian pours
So the
service
manufacturing plant is different from the shrine.
no, the owners practice. They are Hindus.
But the
who were-
plant is different from the
Kevin, I
shrine.
think that
They are-
that-
in
I
person,
think-
no.
If it is something dedicated to idols, okay, and then we pick it from that shrine into the house of God, then it becomes a problem. But if it's not something that is dedicated to idols for idol worship, and then it's a company, but then the person who owns that company is not a Christian. I mean, after giving you my hard-earned money, after giving you something that I sweat for, and it comes to me, I also know what to do as a spiritual person to make it fit for what.
That if he knows that my uncle worships Nogopo.
No,
But
Nogopo is a
owns
town. I
this
think we shouldn't
part.
be
Worships-
exaggerating
worships-
this.
Ah,
Nogopo is
do
a
you know
town.
we
It's
are-
not. It's
we
not
don't
an
even know
idol.
our
No.
African deities.
No. So
Okay,
yes, Nogopo is not a shrine. Nogopo is a town. So just
I think it's
spare
a
that.
deity. If my uncle worships Kweku Free and it's public, everybody knows my uncle.
And he owns a company.
Yes.
Or it is
and
Kweku
all-
Free producing the trade.
No,
Is it-
so that deity?
Kevin.
Because what you are saying.
I think
No,
that-
he's misconstruing
hold on,
what I
hold on,
said.
hold on,
No,
hold
no,
on.
we are-
Hold on, let me
So
come in
who is
there.
producing the
Let me
product?
neutralize.
Who's producing?
Let me
They are
neutralize.
free worshiping.
Let me
It's
neutralize the
becoming-
situation.
And
it's
their factory
becoming-
was
that's not-
dedicated
so
to
you
This
see-
is not even what we are talking about.
So you
Right
see-
here.
shortcutting.
So you
Kweku
see,
Free
sometimes
was the
Kevin,
one who
sometimes
catch it on it.
sometimes you stretch the
He
argument.
does
Because
actually.
yes,
He
hold
does.
on,
No,
hold
no,
on,
no, no, no,
Kevin,
no,
let
no,
me
no, no,
come in.
no, 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 no.
Let me come in. Let me come in.
No.
I want to neutralize the situation. For instance,
They don't pour pepper.
if I no. If I buy a hoodie, I have no knowledge where the hoodie is coming from. If I buy a phone, I don't know the CEO of
Samsung.
What he worships,
I-
what
I
does he
think
worship?
what
I
he
mean.
worships.
Yeah.
I use it.
I mean,
But in
And
Ghana,
hold
when
on,
you know,
let
they
me-
will
Hold.
fight.
Oh, come
like
on.
example.
The
For
same
example,
way.
Pastor,
the
say
same
stop.
way-
No.
The
Do you
same
know
way
what
you
Kweku Free
champion-
has produced that no one bought?
The same way
Give
you
me one
champion,
example.
Like a local herbal drink, for example.
Yes.
I can't mention anyone.
The same way you
bitters.
champion
Okay, KB bitters. Now me,
Pan-Africanism.
say me hear KB bitters. Now me some Kweku Free. Now during the cutting of the salt for the factory, a fetish speak came to perform this. I tell you, some pastors will tell their way not to buy.
The
KB
issue is
bitters.
not even about pastors, it's about individual choices. You choose to buy this phone. None of your phones were made by Africans. But you say you're Pan-Africans.
The materials is from Africa.
Which
The
material?
lithium is from Congo.
We don't have.
But it wasn't
lithium outside
assembled.
Africa.
It wasn't even assembled.
know what you're saying. Is your set from
That is
Africa?
only
The
the.
cotton.
The-
The cotton.
Says who?
See, sometimes
I think some
sometimes
one-
no, sometimes
Maybe
the arguments,
one TRC.
sometimes the
Yeah,
arguments,
Debi yet was in Debi Naya kind of said. Debi Naya kind of said. Sometimes you dwell on the
and
Yes.
the fetish priest, it was not a Catholic priest who came to pray, and it was a fetish who cut the sword.
We can-
I am telling you, pastors will tell their area people, don't go and buy from a Kweku Free and dedicate at the end. I won't talk.
Master Lombeto.
Will not be bought.
They will still buy.
Pan-Africanists still fly the plane.
But who told you Pan-Africanism
So-
about anti-progress,
No,
anti-modernism?
it's not. We're not talking about.
It's about Western ideals
If-
and white supremacy. That's
if-
what we're against.
if You see, you are turning a little bit into an extremist.
He is. Kaka kaka.
Because you see, extremists are the people who will try as much as possible to find a problem with a particular product just because it is coming from
Okay,
another
so
person.
as soon as
So
we
if you
have
say-
issues with Western imposition, we are extremists.
No,
but
no, no,
everything
no,
we have
no,
done in Ghana
no,
has
no,
been
no.
the Western ideal. You were fighting about traditional marriage ceremonies here. Where is the problem
I
coming
was
from?
talking
Western
about me
imposition.
learning culture. I didn't say that it was bad.
Because it was not in your curriculum. GS has refused to put it in. So you will not
come
know.
back?
That is why the man wanted to
So
correct
Why are we
So
even? Why are we even discussing this? Can we
They
come
are-
back?
they are-
We
they
are
are-
not digress, my dear.
Everything-
We never
You are
digress.
digressing
We
because
are about
it's
values. And
This has
education.
gone after
There's a
Good
Muslim
values.
in my area. I buy porridge from her. She doesn't speak in tongues, but I buy porridge from her.
Uh-huh.
It does not
what,
make it
what
bad.
do you
Okay.
what do you make
Does not
of
make
that?
it bad.
If she,
Okay,
if
what do you
she
make of
was
that?
fetish,
But
Why should she be fetish?
but
wait,
if
so-
she was fetish, we would have bought good from her.
Do you know who
saying
the
the
fetishists
Muslims-
are?
Muslims are
I think
Christians.
I think
Are
No,
Muslims
Muslims
Christians?
Christians.
If she
Are
was
Muslims
coming
now
from
Christian? How about-
Ebusufie, would you have
how
bought
about
it?
Muslims?
Yes.
Are Muslims Christians?
And how would you have bought it?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't
Ah.
No, answer.
No, how about Muslims? Are they
Muslims are not
They
Christians.
They are monotheistic, like Christian. They are from the
Oh,
Quranic
come
faith.
on.
yeah.
Muslims are not Christian. I mean, this doesn't.
No.
That's.
I mean, we buy watching from Muslims.
I mean,
Tuozafi, add the Tuozafi to it.
Apostle Paul said, when you go to market, this in the Bible, he said, when you go to market, you are going to buy meat. Don't ask it. This one, how was it killed? Was it stranded? Was it beheaded?
strangled?
Sorry, was it strangled? Sorry.
yeah.
What happened before this meat was
And now
prepared?
we are now-
How did he said that when you get the meat, bless it, give thanks and bless the meat. That's all.
Yeah,
Who
also-
killed it? Who strangled it?
And
Whether it
now
was
accept-
shot, whether it was whatever it is.
we have a
The
million-
scripture that we are following as Christians says, when you go to the market, don't ask questions. Buy the meat, bring it home, bless it. This person doesn't worship Kweku free. He said, don't ask it. This car that is coming, are they Buddhists? He said, don't ask. He said, you give them your hard-earned money, bring the car home, bring the meat home, bring the food home, bring whatever it is home. It's in Timothy. He said, bless it. When you bless it,
So
and
why
you
doesn't the church integrate in Homo celebrations? Or
but
Kweku?
no, but there are people who are from the church who play roles in some of them.
They
Not
do,
the church
yeah.
has a brand. We don't integrate into our festivals.
But the church, the
church
primary
is its
purpose
own
of the
festival.
church is not into festivals. To
Yeah.
buy
We
this.
have Muslim holidays in Ghana, but we are
Uh-huh.
7 out of 10 Christian.
Muslim. So,
So how
what
come there's
happens?
no holiday for like Okwesida or something?
That is not for us.
It
I didn't hear you.
Should I put
I don't hear you. And the church doesn't own the country.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. It's the tradition, but who have not pushed for it?
No, but the
That's
but
all.
the church
I rest
doesn't.
my
The
case.
church doesn't run the
I rest
country.
my case.
The country setting is different from the Christian setting.
We ban libation from national programs,
The country
but
setting.
we say
a
Muslim and
country
Christian
looks out.
prayers.
A country looks out for the good of everybody. It's not the same.
So why
with
do we ban
Christianity? Christianity's focus is different. It's sharing the gospel and doing
So
good.
why do we ban one aspect of faith?
What
Do you want to go
For-
to
for point of
the?
libation.
do
We
you wanna
ban that one,
direct
but we
it to the
accepted
Jubilee
Christian
House?
And the Arabian and the Muslim one. How come?
Who banned it?
A certain president in the past,
So this last year's one it didn't happen.
it has not been restored. So we
Yeah,
only
they
say Christian prayers or Muslim prayers, but we don't say traditional prayers. And to me,
That's the
the
president's
problem.
choice. No, I mean that's the president's choice. So if you have to do what you want.
Yeah, it's true because it was a president who implemented
so
the
whoever
libation.
wants, he can do it.
Yes, it was a president who.
If Levy was not there, somebody else was.
Exactly.
We are all suffering from it too. If you are taking it away. Aye.
Anyway, we're inching
Yeah,
close
some
to
more.
wrapping up.
So First Corinthians
no.
Hey, hey,
10
hey.
verse
Open.
20.
We didn't open
Verse
the
25
phone.
to 27
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
so you may eat any meat that is sold in the marketplace without raising questions of conscience. For the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. If someone who isn't a believer asks you home for dinner, accept the invitation if you want to. They said without asking questions, because let me be so focused on the Christian circle. We Christians, it's not necessarily about where we are even getting it from, especially when we are even buying it. The way we handle it when it comes into our domain is the most important, and especially after we have bought it. Like, this is buying it all, not that they dedicated this thing to an idol, so you are a Christian. Take that's not what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm repeating it again. my hard-earned money and I bought it, and the thing came to me.
Like the woman who
That's
put
why we
the
dedicate our
alabaster.
cars to God. We dedicate our houses to God.
Yeah.
We dedicate our, because we don't know where it came from. Even the meat or the food we eat, we will bless God. We don't know who prepared the food. There's someone who probably used certain water from a place we don't even know.
Yeah.
It might be from the region of darkness. But when it comes to me, I mean, the game changes.
Yeah.
You can use whatever water to prepare your wache, and I'll buy it with my hard-earned money. When the wache, should I say, steps into my plate? When the wache comes into my plate, the battle, the case is different. You don't, whatever you use to cook the food doesn't have power over me. Because physically, I've used my hard-earned money to earn it, and spiritually, I'm praying over it. So if we are going, hey, this one is Kweku free, hey, this one is Muslim, hey, this one, they ain't me
Yeah.
You will be just jumping.
I'm
Who
just
told you ain't
putting
me
to the
tonight?
theory that when
So
there's a
let's
white
just
stand
forget
and one pause
that.
salvation
And
one
the
is
oil
rejected
thing
and
that
one
he was
is
saying that
everybody
we
they will not buy the
import
oil like
the
that.
oil, something that says we import oil and all that.
Yeah, the olive oil.
Regardless
they will
of
call it anointing
who,
oil.
regardless of
Olive oil is
who,
not anointing
I'm
oil.
coming.
You know that, right?
The oil, I'm saying, I didn't say anointing.
Yeah,
oil. I
but
said
just
the
for
oil.
clarification.
No,
Olive oil is not
I'm
anointing.
saying
It's the
oil.
power of the Holy Spirit that makes it anointing.
But I'm saying oil.
So
I
let's
didn't
just
say oil.
establish that
I
part.
didn't use any other, but who doesn't know that?
Hey, a lot of Ghanaians don't know that they call olive oil anointing oil. So the purpose of public education. But your auto olive oil not anointing. Unkunku ni my anointing.
So, okay, thank
So
you.
the,
Thank you.
The oil you were talking about.
So the oil that he spoke about,
Cool.
if we get someone, the businessman who is ready to do it, at least to the standard that we import, or a better,
Yeah.
I tell you that the Ghanaians will buy from that person and even export it. Just that we don't get people.
Understand that Adringo will be as powerful as olive oil. Ghanaians will prefer Adringo.
There are pastors.
No.
Yes.
Kevin. There
Yes.
are pastors when praying,
Cool.
even on TV, can ask people that even if you find water
Yes.
by you,
Yes.
you can use it.
But how many Ghanaians know that Adringo can be called anointed
The fact
oil?
that there are unscrupulous beings purporting to be men of God does not negate the fact that the genuine ones still
How,
exist.
Exactly.
how was the last time the
Exactly.
genuine pastor used Adringo instead of olive
Oh,
oil?
It's
but
not about
Archbishop,
Adringo. I'm
Archbishop,
saying
when
that
he's praying
water-
over communion, you can tell even if you have soft drink
If
or
you have-
biscuit,
you
you
No,
can
I'm
use
talking
it.
about
Why
oil,
you?
oil,
That's
not
what we are-
beverages.
But
When was the last time a genuine man of God used Adringo instead of olive oil?
but
which
if
is
no
what-
wait,
that
if
is your
if
choice.
this available,
Yes.
for example, I get into an island or any place at all, and I drink with what's available, why won't I use it?
No, then
But
do you
where I
know-
have
do you
where I have
know that
alternative,
neighbor?
where I have
Neighbor,
alternative,
do you know that CCI we are for the brood air communion?
exactly.
And no, yeah, the beverage aspect. I'm talking about the oil.
Neighbor.
Communion is
If-
fine. You use
if
soap
I
and
have-
Why is it?
let's integrate the same thing.
I have
to olive
Adringo
and
and I have olive oil.
Okay.
I will use what do you call the olive oil. But if I'm left with only the Adringo and
So
I don't
why
have
would
any
you use
option,
olive
why-
oil over Adringo, which is native and from Ghana?
but
Wait, it's who how they say we should use something made in Ghana. If I know,
Because and also come the importation dollar they come. The church is.
It makes sense.
but
What
you,
I'm saying makes
but
sense.
what him said beyond
But
the
I'm
spiritual
saying
thing,
that-
we have something we call foreign consumers. That's going to do with the church. What if say Ghana Fancas? I am made in Ghana products. Where are we?
It came from somewhere
There
before
be-
the British
neighbor.
came.
But
They
it's
had
not
eaten
a-
our own food when our
and
food-
it's not a-
until they put in education curriculum that where
Brenda,
a
me say
we
me
were
ba
not
tie
having
me,
problems.
tie
And
me,
it's not
tie me,
text.
tie me.
That's
And I make a chair the set me, but and I make a chair say.
But we are
No,
one
look,
person,
I am
we are-
coming.
we are
Ẹ̀fà,
also
why
one
would
of the
I
Western
tell
Western
you?
European.
And I make a chair say.
It's like
Saturday
Ghana,
night,
over here, Christian, you
be.
can know that they Western.
And yes,
No.
but you're no
You have to wear
brother.
shoes
And
to
you're no
look born
brother.
again.
Brother,
Who
say you're
told
no
you that?
That's not
Did
true.
you know he?
Jesus was when
I am
they
no,
are all
I
like
no,
this.
I work in the real estate.
Gladiators.
Gentlemen, I work in the real estate industry. One of the issues we are constantly facing, and why most of people price in USD
Hey,
and
please,
all
white
of those
people, I don't
things,
hate you.
of those things is that we Ghana for your foreign, we have a foreign taste.
It came from somewhere.
Neighbor, what? Listen, it's not about. Listen,
Did
the thing
you
is,
not just sit here and say that it is rewarding?
Hey, smart wait. No, that's
it is
neighbor.
rewarding.
The point
You are
is,
frustrated.
neighbor.
It is rewarding to
Neighbor.
have a Turkish
The point is,
essence.
I come.
It is
I
rewarding to have a
come.
Moroccan
So
couple.
it
Smart,
was-
me and you have a
an
fight.
influence that's come from
No,
somewhere.
but
And you're
you-
quite-
The
Kevin,
thing
and
is,
you are sorry,
listen,
yeah,
there
yeah,
be won't
yeah,
see
yeah,
me.
yeah.
The long and short of the whole thing is, it may have come from, but now, no, in our current dispensation, no, what are we dealing with? Yeah, what no question woman say, yeah, Ghana for a THC. I can't maybe to make a jump. Mehu array of mehu adrengo, mehu cutting, mehu me pa ma koto sunflower oil.
Yes.
Because I sana that's to me. Me take my so empabo chade. Christmas say wo me ma Christmas hamper. Na me ko first set go do tree tuma. How obebu me say?
I'll be happy. It's Ghana.
And you
Individual choice.
fa ho to
It's an
nche.
Because
individual
Ghana
choice.
cocoa is premium.
But yeah, you know, Meba.
If
Do you
I'm
know,
said- If
Meba?
I'm pseudo
Meba.
educated, I'll bring the switch to
This thing has got nothing. Wait, we're not sorry
The
problem.
theobromine near what Ghanaian
Brother.
cocoa is more
We are aware,
better and
say,
more healthy
we
than
are
the
aware, say,
foreign
yeah,
one.
no man, you are bontino, yeah, no man, Sunday. We are the same people that on Sundays we fill up the churches. Exactly. Ain't you know, a foreign consumerism, no, I didn't hear problems.
But
Yeah.
it is a foundation. If we be there, by
And no paho, ya paho, and your call, say you want to see ya, Abba.
The crave
It's your
for
bed day.
Italian belt. Italian.
Snakes
Maybe
issues.
issue of quality.
It is foreign.
So now you are bringing the conversation.
Do you
home.
see it?
That is what we are talking about. So,
So-
that boils down to individual choices.
Okay.
There are There are pastors who pray and they say, if you have a drink or even a biscuit at home, you can use that in your communion.
Yes.
And
So
there are
kudos
people
to
who
that
also
one.
pray
I was very
and
happy.
say
Mind
that
that we used so good.
if-
I was very happy.
If you don't have an oil and you have water, use the water. So the fact that there are other pastors who may not point to these materials does not negate the fact that the genuine ones are telling you what to do.
What I'm saying is that we have not accepted or not told the Ghanaian public that
Why
Adringo
should
is as
we?
equally.
That,
Holy Spirit
listen,
can
I
work
can
through
bet
Adringo
you. Listen,
like
I can
only
bet you,
oil.
Meba,
hold on.
Meba. I can bet
average
you.
Christian
Adrengo's
knows this.
suggestion,
You know.
Adrengo's suggestion
I was cut Meba.
is your personal suggestion.
Preference.
It's your
Because of an
preference.
observation I made.
Debbie,
Any other oil apart from olive oil.
Enyampa,
Then
Abrante,
some of them
Abrante,
don't. They
Meba,
think-
Meba,
I mean,
Meba.
different
Pastor James, I'll come. Pastor
people
James,
use it
say,
to-
"Eye,
and
ni
I
aso
didn't
food
go
na,
to
say
the
ni aso
video.
food na puppet so no catch na yeah. Anka Ghana, we are not where we are today.
I don't understand.
The man of God can. We can put your theory to test. Maybe Papa can come Sunday and say, okay, here's what. The person you BBC here. Now we want to stop us all ya or your person you shall oil as well. Konakoto ebia in cutting one and see the number of people who actually obey. They will not listen.
With their own oil.
They will not listen. It's
There
my
are people-
taste.
There are people who have
Listen,
traveled
brother,
around the world. They
Ebano-
come to church with their own
About
oil.
who's a communion cry or levels
Not
of
based on what the
communion.
man of God is saying.
There are-
So
there are
let us
levels
say
to the
that our
communion.
purchasing
It is
power
our
affecting
personal
the
thing.
dollar as well.
And no, but
Our
we are
behavior,
not. We are
our
listen.
choice,
A taste.
Our taste.
My
And
taste
it was
affects
not
what my
official. Hey, it
my
was not
pastor.
natural.
But do you
If
know
you
that
believe
the
that-
government
We don't
has
care about
control
natural
over
or
this
not.
than the church?
That is where, you see, we always say NPP and DC are not doing well. The way you control, let's prove to the world. That's why I say churches
But
should
it
buy
is
Canada
not.
and prove to the world.
And far,
We trust our
it
own
will
back.
not
You
work.
put- you
We will not
always-
follow.
You always put the change track in front of the church.
Do you know why? No, we
I'm
are the
coming.
so-called.
Oh, but it won't work.
So-called.
Okay, great.
But we are the same
When
people
you
who
put
enter the church
change
now.
track in front of the church, every theory will tell you that it
And
doesn't
far,
work like that.
and far.
Because the man of God, who has always been standing on the pulpit to preach that
He's been saying the same
people should
message.
not steal.
We are stealing.
Members of the church.
We are
who
corrupt.
So
Yeah, boy,
it is
Jamaican.
about individual choices. Somebody can come and hear a powerful
Aye.
sermon, a spirit-filled sermon, would go back home
Still, nah,
and
that-
do
that-
what
nah.
they want.
People Sunday morning, people do things before they come and sit and listen to the
If
preacher.
you
What
have
are
that
you talking
continue
no,
after.
great.
What are you talking
But the
about?
That is
first
a-
is the
What are you
personal
talking
decision.
about, Brad?
Pastors don't tell us to fornicate. It's the
But we do.
signature in Azam makes us to fornicate.
So
Pastor
it is
says,
the-
do
it
not
is the
fornicate, but don't
preference.
we?
It's
The
a signature.
preference
Do,
of the-
and I'm
the
saying
pastors
that humans
tell
to correct.
Yes.
And I'm saying that we should stop calling olive oil anointing oil. It will change the purchasing power of a lot of Christians
Says who?
and it will stabilize the city.
It will
and
not.
it off.
It will not.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it
The
will.
local
All right.
right, we call it 2Jimmy. It even ridicules the brand.
No, 2GB
Then
is
we
actually
call
not a
something perfume, right?
Debbie,
This
Debbie.
little
Now
things,
we have
eh,
no. Now
the
we have
nuances
brother.
are
Here,
affecting
please,
our
please,
dollar
I beg you.
exchange.
At the risk of doing adverts for some
Do you-
people,
do you
do
eat
it, neighbor.
Jimmy?
You
Do you-
ain't-
do you
you
eat
ain't- Mimi
Jimmy?
say, I rate
Do you
Ghana.
eat to Jimmy?
Neighbor.
I eat local rice.
Do you eat to
I
Jimmy?
eat
No,
local
but
rice.
Do you know what 2GB
now you
is?
They
said-
call local rice.
Do you?
2GB,
No,
and
it's not true.
run
There
by
be
the-
there boy. 2GB is
Anyway,
low
I
grade
have a
rice.
ring, as an example, I have a ring, I
Empa-
was in Dallas.
eh.
I have to change the cities.
Brother.
In my small way, I
Debbie.
have to make.
Nea
food
make
track
catch
in my
no.
local currency.
Listen, 2GB
If you
is not
continue to
Ghana
call
rice.
local rice
2G
2G,
there be you are
calling
a
olive oil,
rock.
which is
There
calling,
be no.
anointing
2GB
oil,
is
our
low
people
grade
will
rice.
consume it.
Oh, brother,
Rice.
2GB
I
is
think
low
today-
grade rice. It
But
is not.
it's usual.
So
There be it's not usual.
I've never
Enyampa.
heard us
They say
call
enyampa.
Vietnamese rice
Enyampa.
hold on,
Ewo
hold on,
ewo
guys.
pacho
So
ho.
our little
Ewo ho.
as Christians,
The so-called rice that you are
Allow me
talking
to sign
about,
out.
you will
Allow me
sign
to
out.
sign
Let me
out.
fire this
Allow
voice.
me
we
more.
started
Yes,
10
sir.
minutes
No,
late.
no, no. It's
But
full,
today's a
and-
special edition.
Yeah, that's a special edition. We are having a lot of
Technical
the
issues.
interjections are way too much.
Oh,
Way
no,
too
no,
much.
no,
Hello
no,
guys.
no.
Thank you so much for sticking with us and joining us for the To Be Friends.
So no final words.
My name is Martin.
No final words. What can we?
Have a very good evening.
And one, no.
This is a 2 Jimmy sign off.
No, but the 2GB and
You, if you want to see the animation.